Dan Piano, Grand Piano. We alive.
Here we go. Here we go. If you didn't know, I am a pianist.
Professional.
As you see right here.
Pro.
Professional. I can play the Simpsons theme song. I can play Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because they are pretty much the same song. And
can you play Hot Cross Buns?
I can do a lot of things. Chopsticks.
How about Three Blind Mice?
Ooh, I don't like to, I don't like to attack any group of people.
Let's keep this. So, this week we choose a business.
That's right. So the last couple of weeks, we came up with ideas of, well, first of all, we came up with the idea to even do the case study. And then we both came to the table last week where we brought 5 businesses each. And then we narrowed it down to 3 businesses out of all the 10 businesses. Mm-hmm. And we took the last week to kind of dive into them a little bit more, coming up with strategies, business plans, potential income, how we would, take it to market and all these different things. And that's what we're going to talk about today, amongst other things.
Yeah. Okay. So the 3 businesses that we kind of settled on were Airbnb Buddy, cleaning, restocking, turnover for short-term rentals. Yes?
Yes, and Airbnb Buddy was actually like a name.
Yeah.
That I kind of came to the table with. So that one I came to the table with the name already in mind. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the idea is, helping out people with short-term rentals, their turnovers, like you said, but also helping them increase their retention and their like SEO, like so their searches, like trying to help them get more rentals.
Right.
Get 5-star reviews and that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Second, home care service, non-PSW home care services.
Yes.
And
I have some cool names for that, by the way. Yes.
Sweet. I love tweaking names. So
yes.
Third was event rentals, like inflatable rentals, possibly photo booth, stuff like that. But we have a potential replacement for that one just based on the overhead and equipment needed to start that one.
Yeah, so I kind of did some research on it. I know you did too, and we talked about it a little bit last week, pros and cons and stuff like that. And I think like just for this case study, I think we should almost veer away from that one and insert another one that's overhead is kind of lower. And we decided that the sports recreational league was a good front runner for that replacement.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So let's start with Airbnb Buddy, pros and cons, and we'll see if it makes sense for us.
Awesome. So I'll dive in. I've got some stuff prepared, and I know you do too. But I'm excited because this was my baby that I brought to the table. So you can start on home care. I'm going to start on this one. Well, we'll both talk about this together, but I mean, like when we get into the home care one, we'll let you jump in first. Okay. So first of all, the name. Obviously, Airbnb Buddy. Now, I also added a tagline to this, which is, hold on, I'm just pulling it up here. I'm getting through the home care notes here. I've got a whole bunch of home care notes. Oh. Maybe it's over here. Okay. People are calling. Oh, no, probably shouldn't have hung up on that one. Damn it. Okay, where is it all? The one's here.
Well, this is interesting.
Rough start, folks.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So it would include stuff like turnover cleaning, restocking supplies. And then you had mentioned also potentially helping with booking, right? My only question around that is if booking is done through Airbnb, what kind of stuff can we do to help with their booking? Right?
It's little things like, for example, QR codes left inside the Airbnb for like 5-star reviews. You can do some marketing online with it. Like I know it does get booked through Airbnb, but you can market it.
Well, you can improve their listing, right?
That's what I mean.
Their copy, their photos, all that stuff.
That's right.
What else?
To help them out. The other one was essentially their retention. So like you know, if somebody goes and stays there, you're kind of like, okay, well, next time you come, like, use this code, or like, I don't know exactly how that works within Airbnb, but like, leave us a review and get this, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So like adding perks to it, you know, again, like we'd have to like dive in and be like individually based. Okay, here's my notes. Okay, where's my cool tagline? I had a really cool tagline. Hold on a second here.
Couldn't have been that cool if you don't remember it.
I do, but I don't want to butcher it. Like, I don't want to throw it out, just throw it out there. So there's a bunch of them, but then my favorite one was your property's best friend.
Okay.
Other runner-up was
your B&B's best friend.
Your B&B's BFF.
Your B&B's best buddy.
Your B&B's best buddy. Yeah, exactly. Your hosting helper.
Right.
The friend your Airbnb always needed. Anyways, but yes, anyways, cool little taglines. But there's different subscription-based packages, because that was another thing that we had talked about previously before we kind of got into. We want to have predictable income. We want to be able to do this in a way where we have subscription-based. So the idea with this whole entire thing is we create a business, we do all the branding, the marketing for it. We put together like a plan, and then we kind of go and we try to get clients, and we get clients and we put them on subscription-based models. And at the same time, we're kind of hiring it out and making sure that we have people that can fulfill. We want to densify in a certain area and make sure that we're servicing a certain area, so that we don't have to like hire too many people in too many different areas. So these are just the different things. And you being in Hamilton, me being in Durham region, it's kind of one of those ones where we do, even though we're trying to be a little bit hands off, we probably still want to be kind of localized, where we can still be able to go. And if we needed to troubleshoot or visit a property, or, you know,
and being on either side, we could kind of cover most of the GTA.
Correct. So just to kind of go over some of the ideas here, you know, we already talked about, you know, what we want to offer as a service. So like the turnovers, right? So whenever they have a guest in, the guest comes, you know, all the communication, we want to basically have our hosts not have to deal with any of the comms. So a booking comes in, we receive the email, we receive the notification, we follow up with the renter or with the person coming in, and we deal with all the instructions. If they get there on the day of and they have to have any questions, we take care of all the communications. The renter goes in, they have their fun, they do their thing, we're monitoring it. We're, you know, if there's any, you know, let's just say there's security red flags that can pop up on there, and maybe there's alarm system, and maybe there's, you know, cameras or whatever the case may be. We're the people that can take care of that part of it. Once they actually leave, we, you know, we're again monitoring that part of it, and then we go in and we do the turnover. So we're cleaning the place, putting it back to square one, whether we're taking out garbage, you know, whatever it is that needs to be done, because every unit might be a little bit different. We're taking care of all the responsibilities there. It's ready to go. It's turned over, you know, pillows fluffed, and, you know, maybe there's a little box that's left over, you know, for the next tenant that comes in or whatever. Some Airbnbs, you know, they'll put a bottle of champagne or something like that. You know, not every Airbnb is the same. If it's a cottage type of place, maybe we're leaving off spray, maybe we're leaving whatever, right? Like, so everything's a little bit different. So we'll have like a customized kind of a box for them. And again, this comes down to which package that you would purchase from us. So I've got, for example, here, the starter buddy. This is like $400 a month. You get 5 turnovers a month. You get the full turnover, linen, laundry, restocking essentials, basic property check, and guest communications tips. So that one isn't actually where we would actually do the communication for them. They would still do the communications. We would just do the quick flips and the turnover, restocking essentials, right? But if they want the growth buddy, right? So that one also includes 5 turnovers. And then if they need more than 5 turnovers, then they pay an additional fee per turnover.
Okay.
Just to throw that out. And then each one that goes up, you get more turnovers, but you also get more service. So for example, everything in start. So for this one, Growth Buddy, and I have all the notes here, so I can send them over to you after. You don't need to write them all out. Growth Buddy, and again, these names could get changed. I just like to name packages, and these are not like punny enough for us. I know we're going to come up with something better than these, but Growth Buddy is 10 turnovers a month. It's $750 a month. You get all the stuff that you get in the first one. So the cleaning, the linens, the restock essentials, basic property check. So we'll probably have a checklist where we can kind of send it back to the people and say, hey, this is what's going on. And, hey, you might need this, or hey, you might need that. So this one gives you everything that, but then also you get minor property maintenance, listing optimization advice, priority scheduling, guest follow-up support. Okay, so these are the included things that you'll get. So not only do you get more turnovers included in this package, we also increase what we're actually doing with the service, and you're gonna notice that. So there's 4 packages you can get. Those are the first 2. You've got Pro Buddy, which is $1,100 a month. It's $1,099. You get 15 turnovers a month. You get everything in the first 2. You get seasonal prep. You get minor repair coordination, meaning so if so they need a paint job, or they need trim needs to get fixed, the door handle, or whatever it might be, we take care of that for them in regards to, we might hire somebody local, because they could be they could be out of the country. They could be somebody from, out west. We contact the local contractor, or maybe it's something that we can do in-house. Extra linen and supplies management. So again, if there's, they're out of a pillowcase, they're out of this, or out of that, we actually go purchase it for them. We bring it for them. Obviously there'll be, fees for that. We send them receipts and whatever. Guest retention recommendations. So again, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, a little QR code, or like with the 5-star rating. Maybe we include something that's like, hey, use this next time that you book with us. You get $20 off your next visit if you book before this date, whatever it is. And again, I don't know how that works through Airbnb, but I'm sure there's a way that we can manage that, because, let's just say they book through Airbnb, but we send them a $20 e-transfer, for example. I'm just throwing out an example, right? And then the last package is the Ultimate Buddy, which is $1,400 a month. You get 20 turnovers a month up to everything in Pro. You get the concierge service, you get the welcome baskets, and small groceries, like could be apples or bananas or something like that, like a nice little welcome basket. A deep clean is also included. So that doesn't mean a deep clean every single time that the turnover happens, but probably once a month we would go in and make sure that we do like a deeper clean. Full property checkup, meaning we go around the entire property and we let them know every single thing. We probably take pictures, little videos or something like that, and we send it to the client. We get a little bit of marketing and the guest retention support. So again, this is where we would take it a step further, where we're actually managing the bookings and we're taking care of the communications. So that would be the big difference as well in this. So this one, not only do you get, like, most people are getting, 20 bookings for the one property would be, very successful Airbnb. And there are a lot of them out there. Some of them are even higher than 20. Some of them are less though. And some of them might be 15 to 20. Some might be around that threshold. But the reason why they would jump to this package is because of the extra that they get in the service. The quality of the service would be a little bit better, including that little gift bag or grocery little basket, including the communications takeover, right? That us having, like, them basically hands off. They bought the place. They thought it would be a good Airbnb spot. They got it all set up. Everything's done. They hire us and we do the rest. They're pretty much done now. They're just collecting cash.
Right.
So that's sort of the general idea, the business model that I came up with. Now, obviously, that's open to interpretation. This is just general ideas. Like, you could come in and say, so another thing I want to mention is, at first I had higher pricing. Like this pricing is, I would say, is competitive. It is something that is more, I would say, me, if I was the investor and I own the Airbnb, I don't want to be paying much more than any of these for one property. Like, obviously, if you're getting 20 turnovers in a month, that means you're making good money off your Airbnb, and you can afford this package. If you're somebody whose Airbnb only rents 1 to 5 times a month, none of these will probably make sense to you, to be honest.
Right.
And this
so
is also,
therein lies my first question: are these markets, specifically like Hamilton and Durham, are they Airbnb enough to support this business?
Me personally, I think Durham region and Hamilton is not our niche market for this. I think Toronto is.
Yeah.
we'd have to be targeting Toronto, which isn't bad because we're both not too far from Toronto.
Yeah.
So it's still within reach. But again, our goal here is not for us to be visiting these Airbnbs anyways.
Yeah. Right.
If, let's just say, we decided that, okay, for people that are on the Ultimate Buddy package, maybe we're going to get a little bit more hands-on, and we're actually going to go visit the site once a month because they get the deep clean, because they get the property check, because they get the little extras.
Mm-hmm.
We may include a property visit by us specifically until we can maybe trust one of our employees who we think is very knowledgeable and they can handle like that full property check for us. Which I think is very easy to train up. I think, you know, if you get somebody in there that could do the deep clean and all that kind of stuff, they might not know everything about the properties. They might not know about trim. They might not know about the bolt lock or the this or the that. They might not know, and we can't necessarily expect everybody to know that. However, if we do the hiring properly and we find the right person, they might be a little knowledgeable about that. But there's some things we can train and there's some things you kind of can. And that's why it comes in, especially at the beginning. Mm-hmm. If you're on that package, maybe me or you are going to go show up and we're going to take a look at more of a thorough look, which is okay. That's not the end of the world for us, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing I do want to mention is for this package, again, that person that we hire that's going to go and do the checks, or sorry, that person that we're going to get to do the turnovers, they might be able to do, for example, set up the basket. They might be able to do, you know, mostly everything that's on that list, but the communications part, they're probably not going to be doing that, right? So that's going to be another thing that we're going to have to add to that business. In my opinion, we either get a VA, which I think is a great idea, or we hire somebody that's an administrator that's, you know, for the company that would be taking care of all accounts. You know, they can do a lot of things for us. Like if we get a VA for the company, especially at the beginning, we can get somebody overseas that's affordable. We can get them to take care of all these small tasks, but then we could also be getting them to do other things for us in terms of like marketing and outreach and finding new Airbnb hosts that we want to add to the business. So then again, our sales system's kind of happening in the background with the same person that they're kind of doubling down on duties. So they're helping out with the comms and then they're also helping us with outreach.
So how do you get clients?
So definitely things like, for example, Wealth Genius trade shows, things like reaching out to our personal networks of people that we know that have Airbnbs, contacting Airbnb hosts, outreach that way, and also marketing. So ads, like online ads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, I would say is the main three that we would have to go after. And we can create some cool videos. We can create AI videos, especially with the name Airbnb Buddy. Like we could have like a little fucking, I don't know why I just swore, but hey, there's some God-fearing people watching this. We could get like do like a AI style video where you've got like this little, I don't know, an owl that's flying around and bling bling, you know, sweetening up the place and turning it over or whatever. Like, you know, the Airbnb, come up with the Airbnb little character. You know what I mean? And kind of give yourself a bit of a, almost like a little mascot, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder who could come up with that design.
I'd like to use AI because I think that's a big part of what we were talking about before is we want to try to utilize our services. So like, first of all, like, you know, we could get for somebody like Lindsay who does like our graphics and all this kind of stuff. Like we could probably get her to come up with something, but I think it'd be almost cooler to use something like Sora or use something like Claude or something like ChatGPT or one of these other ones. There's tons of other ones as well. I've been using a lot of really cool ones for this documentary that I'm putting together. So there's a couple other cool AI things out there that can help us create the little character.
Yeah,
but I think
I'm not too worried about that.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's doable. I think that I just think the marketing is going to be the biggest piece of it, right? That there's going to have to be some capital that would have to go into marketing it. That the competition seems to be Master Host, who does this in multiple markets: Hamilton, Kitchener, Windsor, blah blah blah, Sudbury, Burlington, all over the place, and actually other countries. Mexico, USA. So they're a big company who does this. So that would be the main kind of competition there. But
so we would check out their pricing and see what it looks like in regards to ours as well. Like if we're undercutting, that could be a good thing.
Yeah, so their pricing is a percentage based. So their pricing is.
I don't know if I'm an Airbnb host, I don't know if I want to give away a percentage per se.
Well, it's like per booking. So the basic service is 12% per booking. The premium service is 18% per booking.
Yeah, see, and like I don't even get how they could do that.
Well, because then it's like if you have a basement bedroom that you rent for $50, or you have a vacation property that rents for $400 to $500 a night, like their percentage, then they're getting a percentage of the total income, whereas you're charging. It allows you to get with everybody, right? Like
my point is like let's just say you have an whatever. Let's just say you have $100 a night unit, right? And let's just say it even gets booked. Let's just say 10 times because it's an easy number to work with. Mm-hmm. So that person now has to do their turnovers 10 times for $120 or $100 or $120.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that makes any money.
Well, they're doing this on a massive scale, so I think that's like the.
But even at that, it's still you got to pay somebody to go out there every time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And again, must be economies of scale that they can do this.
But there must be. So sometimes you see that's like their front facing pricing. Then you go in and then you contact them, and then to get like a service like I'm talking about is probably going to be. There very well could be more, or maybe they just don't work with like if you're doing $100, you get $12 a thing. That doesn't make sense to send a cleaner out and you're only getting $12 off the listing. It doesn't actually make sense to send anybody out. Like even if you own the business, right? You're going to go out and do that for $12. Like to me, that just doesn't add up, right? So again, maybe that $12, that could be like their base pricing, and maybe they're just dealing with the communications.
It says up to 2 visits per month. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
It might be worth like.
You could dive in further, but that's kind of what I mean. Because actually, when I was first working out pricing models, it was giving me like kind of ridiculous numbers, and I was like, okay, well, like if I was an Airbnb host, I would never do that. I was like, like let's work out some competitive pricing, and I think what the service that's being offered, like that we're just talking about right now with that other company, is like just the comms. And if it's just the comms, like I know you said like there's 2 site visits, right? But the 2 site visits, right? Again, like if let's just say that rental goes out 20 times that month, they're only getting 2 site visits, right? They're not being fully serviced by that person. That person's now hiring a cleaning person to come there every time and do a flip. So it's not an all-in-one service on that particular package, right?
Yeah, you're right. It can't be. It does say includes key exchange, cleaning and laundry, property maintenance, guest communication, and then at the bottom it's got an asterisk with up to 2 visits per month. So yeah, you would get 2 cleans a month at that, but you're going to have more than 2 bookings a month. I'm sure.
That's that, and so that's my point. So my question would be is if they have somebody that's doing 10 turnovers a month, right? What does that pricing look like?
Yeah.
Right. Is it a higher percentage? Are you giving away, or is there a price? Right. And this is why I'm saying predictable pricing. I think personally, me as somebody, if I'm owning the thing, I'd rather pay, let's say I'm like, okay, I've been making 10 grand a month off my Airbnb. Again, that's probably a ridiculous number. 5 grand, whatever it is. I'm making X amount of dollars per month. Right. Then I got to look at my budget and be like, how much am I willing to pay for my turnovers? Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, am my cleaning and my turnovers, whatever. Right. And then you're like, okay, I'll do, because if I'm only renting my unit out for, let's say $250 a night, I don't want to be paying more than, like, I don't want to be paying $100 for every flip. You know what I mean? To get a cleaner in and get this and get that. I'd be willing to pay maybe $50, right? And then if you look at that, that's actually 25% of the booking, right? So, but if we hit them with, hey, we want 25% of your Airbnb, that sounds a little more aggressive than, hey, I want $500 a month and I'll give you 10 visits. Okay, I'll give you 10 turnovers, right? It is still $50 a turnover, but it just doesn't sound as aggressive. I feel
Right.
like.
Yeah. The only other thing I'll say is that Airbnbs are not dead, but the whole model has taken a beating and is no longer what it once was. Like there's a lot of rules around it, even in Toronto. Like you have to have a license; it can only be your primary residence. So it limits these like bigger vacation rentals and stuff in that market.
And
Where
even hosts that have multiple properties, right? Like most of them are
yeah,
only going to have one property
one
because they
yeah
only have a primary, right?
yeah
So it does limit it. I do agree
yeah
with that. I think also just to throw this out there, this might not be the business for us, it because of where we live, but it's a
Mhm.
great model and could probably fly somewhere else like USA, because in the States I don't think they have the same regulations there.
Well,
Also,
it would be, they do for sure, but
oh, do they?
it's very dependent. There's so many markets there; it's dependent on the municipality and the market. So some
Gotcha.
areas it could, like maybe it could work in Muskoka. I don't know the Airbnb rules there.
Yeah,
That's something, right? That like maybe that makes sense.
yeah, and
And
then
use for
also
your team there.
things that are off of Airbnb, right? Like not every rental is on Airbnb. Some people probably have left Airbnb because of these regulations.
Well, the regulations are city issued, so it applies to all short term rentals. It doesn't matter if it's listed on
Oh,
Airbnb or Verbo or what the case is.
okay. So
Mhm.
you can't own 5 properties, for example, and short-term rental 4 of them and live in one.
In certain municipalities, no.
Okay, that makes sense.
Everyone has their own rules. It's
So
really like trim that whole business model down.
so I think what we need to do with that one is, for one, we'll put that at the lower of the list then for now because of those regulations.
It
And
would
maybe
just take more research into
let's
where
research
what
a
it
little
might
more.
make sense. Keith might be somebody to talk to about this. He knows this market.
I agree. And not to throw his business out everywhere, but I believe he has more than one Airbnb
So he
himself.
does arbitrage. He doesn't own the properties.
Right. Okay, so maybe that's the type of people we should be talking to.
Well, that's kind of their business.
Or that's what this business is.
Yeah, well, he goes in. He go. What he does is he goes to landlords who have a normal rental property and says, "Look, I'll pay you this much a month, just in
Mhm.
rent. I'm gonna manage it. I'll furnish it. I'll manage it as an Airbnb. You're gonna be guaranteed this much a month, and I will just manage it as an Airbnb property." That's his model.
But then how is that their primary residence? Anyways, we don't
Mhm.
need to go past the tape, because
Yeah,
there's
well, he
no
does this in the U.S.
right. But you were saying
Yeah.
that it's everywhere across the board. But either way, something to research. Let's figure out the regulations, figure out what our demographic is. Is there even enough clientele that this would even make sense? Or
Mhm.
is this probably something that doesn't make sense? Or maybe the pricing structure, we just have to alter that. So maybe it's a matter of we need more clients, not necessarily clients that have more units, right?
Yeah.
So it's more of that game, which actually makes it harder and a little bit more difficult. And your pricing structure is different, but you can offer like really affordable pricing to certain people. And this is technically property based. Like if you get the ultimate buddy and you get the 20 turnovers, it's not that you have multiple properties that we're doing the 20 turnovers on. This is actually a price per property. So if it was somebody that did have multiple properties, they'd have to pay that $1,400 a month per property if
Yeah.
they want that service, the full service.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, we'll get back to that one. I still think it's a good business. I think it's a good business model. I love the name. I love a lot about it. But let's jump over to another one, and we can talk about that. And then again, we're going to try to weigh out the pros and cons of everything, and then figure out. We might not figure it out today, but at least we'll know a little bit more in depth of where we're both thinking for these ideas. So let's
Right.
jump into the home care business, which I also have a cool name for. But I'll let you jump into home care first, because I'm sure you probably have more ideas than I do.
Yeah, so the next one is non-PSW home care services. And what this means is elderly people who need help at their home. There are government offered PSW services to certain eligible elderly people where they'll come in and they'll help with bathing, medication, toileting, stuff like that. But they do not offer other services like housekeeping, meal prep, errands, picking up prescriptions, driving to the doctor, just conversation. There's that element to it as well. So it's offering those services to to that market of people who just need a bit of help around the house. And so I think the market's absolutely there. And
For
there's
sure.
more people, well, like I said last time, there's people leaving it every day, but there's more people coming into it every day. But it's definitely an in-demand service. Let's see. Startup costs, I think, would be relatively low, right? You probably need some insurance. And then it would be hiring, right? The biggest thing I think would be vetting and hiring the right people to be able to do this.
Mhm.
And then there's definitely going to be some hand holding involved, because these are people who, are older and maybe just need a lot of clarification around things, and like to chat. And so I think that would be the biggest thing, is finding the right people who are willing to do it, figuring out the cost structure. But otherwise, I don't think it's that difficult.
I don't think so either. I also think that we can put out a hiring campaign. Like, we build out the brand, build out what that's going to look like, build out what the core services are that we're offering, that sort of thing, kind of create like a Facebook, Instagram page, that sort of thing. Obviously, like probably like a little website, landing page, website type of deal, that can really kind of explain what it is that we offer, like very simply, very easily. And then we can do like a hiring campaign where we let people know, like, that are coming, that are trying to apply for the job, that we are a startup and we are looking for people that want to join the startup, and that we are going to be launching a campaign to get new clients, and that if they're interested in taking on this job opportunity, we could come up with an agreement, let them know what the wages would be, like what that looks like, how much they would be making and stuff like that, and kind of come up with like an agreement with them, almost like a contract with them, that's like, okay, once we launch, we're going to give ourselves 3 months to get clients, so the contract's not going to start until 3 months from now. And then what we can do is we can then showcase these people on our website. We can do like a little photo op with them, get like kind of like a little bit of bio about them, because it's very personable, right? And so the idea would be then when we do our marketing and we try to find new clients, we can then showcase to their adult children, which is basically who is our decision makers, and the people that are really actually hiring us are the children, the adult children. And so they're actually going to be able to vet and look through our website of I think 2 or 3 companions is who we would start off with. And let's just say we had 3 potentials, maybe 1 guy, 2 ladies, right? And then that way they can kind of go to it, take a look at it, and see who would be best fit as their companion. And then they could make their decision, right? And then we, try to get 2, 3, 4, 5 clients if we can, whatever it is. And, we're letting our client potentially pick their companion. And let's just say only 2 of the companions get picked. Well, those are the 2 companions that we end up picking up on the contract, and the third person would end up, either let them go, let them know that we're not going to be going forward with the contract, or, hey, we're going to be still campaigning. We still want to keep you there on board. If somebody does sign up with you, then we'll let you know, type of thing. You're basically brokering companions for people. And then that way you don't have to hire somebody without having clients yet, and then hopefully you get clients, and then that sort of thing. That's how when I went through my kind of research on it, that's what made the most sense for me, taking it to market.
So I think that is more complicated than it needs to be, in the sense of trying to find 3 people off the bat who are credible and good, as opposed to finding 1 good one. And then putting the power in the client's hands, like about who we're gonna hire, as opposed to saying we've spent our time finding the right person who we think is best. This is who we're going to be sending to you. And then also, I don't think you need to. I think those can be done at the same time. I think you can be finding someone, vetting them, and searching for clients at the same time. Like, get a client before you even have somebody, even, and say, look, we're scheduling for this time. We can't be there tomorrow.
I agree with you. My only pushback is that if I was hiring somebody to come into my mom's home, I would want to know who the person is.
Of course, yeah, and that'll be the initial like part. But that's great. That's nice. I think we should do that. But that's a nice to have. Like if you're hiring the government
to come in and
free
send
one,
you.
they're sending whoever they're sending. You don't get
Yeah.
a choice, right?
True.
So
True. I could be overthinking it, but
yeah, I think it's a nice to have, and we can do that, and we'll set up like an initial kind of interview or meeting, not even an interview, but a meeting to say, hey, this is going to be your person. They're going to come down and just chat with you the first time, maybe tidy up a little bit. And then obviously we can try and have some backups so that if there's just because sometimes there might just be a clash, a bad fit, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So ideally you get to a place where you have a couple that could rotate.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need to overcomplicate it. I think hiring one good person versus trying to find three and then choosing kind of thing. And then having
I
them
kind of agree with that too, because I think if we both are like, yeah, like this person's obviously the winner, like this makes the most sense. I think we're both strong enough with kind of understanding people's characters where we could be like, this person's going to knock it out of the park. We trust this person, you know what I mean? And we just have to be able to stand on that and just trust that and being able to sell that at the end of the day. And, knowing that we're sending the right person, we know that this person's solid. They've got good morals. They've got good, communication skills, whatever it may be. And not every, client relationship is going to work. We know that. And especially dealing with somebody, in this situation, you're dealing with all types of different, walks of life and different attitudes and, different things. Right. And this is why the adult children are kind of handing it off as well, because they're other stressed with dealing with it. It's too much for them, or maybe they're just too busy with their life, whatever it may, there's all these different things, right? So you could be dealing with somebody that's irritable, upset. Maybe they're not even fully sold on this companionship deal anyways. Like you could be dealing with a lot of different things. And this is why for us on our end, we have to make sure that we're vetting the right clients, that like we can't just necessarily take on everybody and anybody, because otherwise we're setting ourselves up for failure with our companion that we're sending in to do the job, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the key, is finding the right person to fulfill, but also finding the right clients. So I mean, I think that goes with any business really, but this one even more so because it's like the companionship part of it.
Yeah. I also think that this could be a role for someone who is a PSW, who's looking for extra work and extra hours. And so they would have that training built in.
I can 100% agree with that. Now, the other thing is on that note, and we already know this, but just to reiterate it to anybody that might be watching as well, is just we are not PSWs, so we can't offer certain things. We're not allowed to do, there's a lot of red tape here. So we have to make sure that we're complying with all of those things. So obviously we know a lot of stuff already that we are not allowed to do, but we'll have to do a deeper dive and making sure that whoever we are hiring as the companion has to be very like able to stand on the ground on that and stand on their 2 feet and knowing, okay, you cannot do this, right? So there's certain things, so we'll have to get through that stuff. But I mean, obviously we know like medical care and stuff, but like things like bathing and toileting, right? Like those are two that are on there. There's also, I think,
you can do that. We can offer that.
I think it says that you're not allowed to.
Who says?
I don't know. I could be wrong. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have to do a deeper dive.
No, you can absolutely help somebody bathe if you want. Okay. But what the only thing around that is that the PSWs that the government supplies as part of OHIP, they're free to those people only do those things. They're just not going to cook for you and stuff. If we're sending someone in there, if they're willing to do that kind of stuff, then sure, that we can offer that. There's no rules around that. I'm quite sure.
So we'll look into that though. Like that's just something we need to look into, just so that we're complying. We want to make sure that we're not crossing any boundaries and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's good to know, because if like once we figure that out, then we'll be able to make sure that we're kind of training and setting ourselves up for success here with in regards to all that stuff.
Well, I just real quick, I kind of came upon this as I'm looking for somebody to help my mom out. And so the girl that I'm speaking to there I've known her since I was like 2 years old. She started this company up there. So I have a good resource of what all of this entails.
Do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's wicked. So we'll definitely maybe even speak with her too. But and then just do a little bit of research. I mean, it's not going to be hard for us to figure it out, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I've got some name suggestions.
Okay.
And I've got one specifically that I landed on that I really like. There's a bunch of other ones, but like this one I liked. But I'll see what you think. And let me see. I think I even had a tagline for it too. Hold on, let me see here. I don't know. I'm big on these taglines, eh? Don't worry about it. Okay, I got taglines for taglines. My taglines have taglines. I've got a full business plan for it. I've got a full summary, a lot of stuff. Okay, but I'll just hit you with it because I don't think I have a tagline. But forever young.
Okay.
Forever young home care.
Okay. Yeah.
I like the name.
Yeah.
I also came up, making daily life easier and more enjoyable. That's the tagline.
That's very straightforward.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I wanted, like I could have came witty with it and tried to like do some stuff, but I wanted to like explain, like paint the picture, if you will.
For sure.
Right? Because we want someone to read this or look at our page or whatever it is that we're posting or whatever, and being able to be like, oh, okay, I get it. That's what they do, right? So now explaining ideas that I had for the service. I don't know, maybe you have, but I've got some price packages and like what we offer. I don't know. Do you have that already? Or
no.
Do you want to spit that out? Okay. So I've got 4 packages that range in prices, just like our last one. I had 4 packages. This one I have 4 packages as well. So the Essential Companion Plan, it's 4 hours per month, so 1 visit per week. Companionship, light tidying, short walks, meal companionship, family check-in summary. So they go there once a week. They do whatever it is that we agree that they want them to do for that hour. Obviously, it could maybe carry over like a little bit more than an hour, but let's just say it's an hour, right? And do a little light walk maybe, or a clean, or, you know, a little bit of both. You could do like they go there, they make a meal, they go for a walk after the meal, they come back, they tidy up around the house, they chit chat a little bit, and then they maybe take some picture or video or something like that, if that's what makes sense for that client. And they do like a summary and a check-in where they like submit something for the family, where they see a picture of you know, granny or papa or whoever it is, and an update. Oh, she was in good spirits, or, you know, whatever it might be, right? So that one's $500 a month, and you get 4 visits a month, so once a week.
Right.
The next one, so that one's $500 a month. Okay. And they get 4 visits, so it's around $125 a visit, right? But they go there for an hour. They do this. They do the meal prep. They do the walk. They do the chit chat, and they do the summary. Right. Again, this is just ideas. We can always adjust pricing, but I think that this is good pricing. The next one is Support Plus Plan. This one's $900 a month. They get 8 hours a month, so 2 visits per week. Everything in the essential, plus grocery shopping, errands, appointment, accompaniment, activity outing, weekly family updates. Okay. So you could do 1 hour per visit, right? Or you could do 1 visit that's 2 hours. Right. So they can have the option and the flexibility as well.
How many monthly hours is that? 8?
8. Okay. So again, it works out to, that one now works out to a little bit less than $125 an hour, because, you know, you're getting the more of a value price.
Sorry, how much was it?
$900 a month.
Right. Okay.
2 visits per week. That would be the 1 hour per. Or you could do 1 visit per week. That's 2 hours, because maybe they need to go out here. Can you take grandma here? Can you take grandma there? And then can you do dinner with her and then send us the update? Or this week she doesn't need to do groceries, so can you go Tuesday and can you go Thursday and send us updates on the Thursday, or send us updates both days, whatever, right? And then you've got Comfort Care Plan. So this one's $1,600 a month. So that's 16 hours a month. So that's 4 visits a week. Or again, you can split it to 2 2-hour sessions. And so everything and above. So you're getting all the grocery shopping, errands, appointment, accompaniment, activity outings, these sort of things. But this one, you also get extended companionship visits. So again, you might go a little bit longer each time. You might go twice a week for 2 hours each time. Or you can go 4 visits a week, 1 hour each. Maybe that's it, because they want more regulatory. They need somebody that's there taking her out for a walk, whatever, taking him out for this, that, whatever it is. Again, leaving it a little bit flexible for everyone to kind of cater to their actual needs. Like, what do you actually need? What do you need help with? Do you need more visits? Do you need more daily? Maybe they're going through health issues or whatever it might be. And so they want to make sure somebody's there at least once a day, right? Now, so for this one, you've got your appointment accompaniment, you've got your, oh no, so that's the other one. Extended family visit, you got meal prep for multiple days. So for this one, it could also focus a little bit more on the meal prep. Like, yes, this is not a live-in chef per se, but this is somebody that's going to go there, hang out with grandma or grandpa, make some food, chit chat, go for a little light walk. And that's 4 times a week, right? So that is something, in my opinion, I would love that. Like, if I was like looking at this, to be honest, I would like the next package, which is it's every day. You get every day, weekday visits, Monday through Friday. It's 1 hour each time, but they do the meal prep, they do that. So it's like literally like you're feeding, taking for a walk, and updating the family every single day, right? And again, this is probably going to be for somebody that's could be on oxygen, could be on, you know what I mean? Like it's more healthy. Again, we're not dealing with the medications. We're not touching meds. They have a PSW for that per se, right? Or maybe they're on top of their stuff, or maybe they're not even on meds, right? Whatever the situation is. And so this is just, again, more companionship, more helping out, more somebody that's there for them. It's like having a family member go check in on your mom every day, right? Which I think is very valuable. I think also just getting the photo or video every day is huge, right? So that one's $2,800 a month. So that one's expensive. That one ain't cheap. But you're getting morning and afternoon routine support on that one. So this one, you're actually getting 2 visits. So you get maybe one in the morning and you get one in the afternoon, evening. So that's why it's very expensive. And again, it's 30 hours a month. So you can start working those hours a little bit differently because you have so many hours. So you might say, listen, I don't need you there every single day, but I want you there 3 days a week for 3 hours. But I need you one hour in the morning, or 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the evening, right? Again, you get a little bit more flexible. Then also, again, as you grow with your clients and you learn their needs and all this kind of stuff, is it something where maybe you're going in there 3 times a day, right? Like, are they close enough to our caregiver where our companion, that it actually makes sense for them to go in 3 times a day, right? Again, these are things that you work out as you go, but this is a high-end client. This is somebody paying almost $3,000 a month, right? Yeah. So, you're going to give them the top end service. Sorry, my bad. Just optional add-on. So local transportation. Yeah. Additional hours, evening visits after 7, overnights. Some people need overnights, non-medical, memory care, friendly companion. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's in there. But like, you can do add-ons, and if you're driving the person around and you're doing this and you're doing that, these are going to be additional costs. So just to kind of just to throw that out there. I mean, like, the time is included in the package, but the actual physical, like, of the gas, like maybe they need to drive an hour away, right? Like, that's not going to be included. So just to throw that out there.
Okay. And so I'm assuming you got like the pricing assisted with ChatGPT?
Correct.
And did they give you an idea of like local average rates?
So for this one, unlike the last one, I didn't give me competitive pricing.
Okay. Because
the Airbnb one, I did competitive pricing. This one I didn't, and the reason why I didn't, just to mention it, is because the care that you're giving the people and the amount of time and all these different things, you have to start taking into consideration how much you're going to pay your caregiver or your companion. For example, added costs. Like, I did add here, like, there's additional costs, but certain things we can now include because we're charging kind of a premium price here. And again, we can adjust the pricing and make it less. But if you're charging a premium price, you can maybe now include certain things. Like, listen, we'll actually include the shopping. So for example, we'll actually cover the cost of the food. maybe potentially, if it makes sense in our pricing structure, we'd have to break this down. But if that does make sense, and like, let's just say we're paying $30 and the person has to go stop off at the grocery store, right? Or maybe we're paying $50. Let's just say 50 just for fun. But they're paying $3,000 a month, right? So if they have to pay $50 in groceries, but it's, you know, if you look at the visits, I forget what that works out to be per visit. I think it's actually $100 a visit.
Right.
Around $100 a visit.
So yeah, the reason I ask is because like the average, and so this might mean that the margins are too thin for this, or you maybe offer a premium service and there is a market for it. But the average is like 30 to 45 an hour for somebody to come in the house and do this.
Yeah.
So if we're charging 125 an hour, that's definitely like putting us in another category, right? And so you'd have to definitely be going off after a certain type of market, which again, very well may be a thing, and maybe you want to go after that higher end clientele that can afford that.
Another thing that I learned like a while back is whenever you're working on your pricing structure, you want to figure out how much it would cost you to have somebody do that job.
Yeah.
And then you have to times it by 3. So 35 an hour is the right price, right? Like that's how much we would probably pay somebody to do this job. Right. But now you have to times that by 3, right? Because you got to pay the person, you got to pay the business, and you got to pay your taxes.
Right.
Right. So this is kind of what I'm thinking in the price structure. And, you know, that works out to, I mean, there's a little bit more. Again, the price is maybe still a little high, but you're also like looking at it like you don't necessarily want to sell a lot of the essential packages, which is the $500 package. You don't necessarily want to sell a lot of those. You want to probably sell more of like the close to $1,000 package. Right. Because you want to have a little bit more income coming in, being able to sustain your employees, you know, because even if you have, let's just say you have 5 clients on the $1,000 package, it's not even $1,000, but I'm just saying $1,000 just for easier conversation. Yeah. But now you can support 1 employee and still make money. Right. And so that's enough where 1 employee is busy 5 days a week, because they've got 2 visits per week per client, and each visit's an hour, right? So every day, essentially, if you have 5 clients, I'm thinking of a weekday, right? So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're doing 2 visits a day. So you got 1 hour here, and then you got 1 hour there. But that person has to travel there, travel over to there, and then come back. So they're really close to, you know, a 5-hour, 6-hour day for your employee. And you're paying them at $35 an hour. And this is just a price I'm throwing out, right?
Yeah.
But these are all things to consider. So you need to make sure that person is busy. So let's just say 5 clients will keep 1 employee busy and making enough money that they're going to want to stick around. And this is like part-time hours for them. This is not like a full-time gig. You're not 8 hours a day. But you give them 10 clients, right? Now you're at, let's just call it 10 grand. Right. But if you had a bunch of $500 clients, they're jumping here, jumping there, jumping everywhere. It brings your profit margins a lot lower, which is why you have to charge a little bit more for that $500 or you know what I mean, for that client. Yeah,
that makes sense.
These are just my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I think it's very doable. Like I think you just position it as a premium service to take care of your loved one.
With the updates,
as opposed to just getting like some Jane's schmo off the street to come in and be with your mother or
I think the added value comes in the quality of the service. I think is a big one. Not that somebody that's out there that's doing it right now that's charging $35 an hour is not giving a quality service. Do you know what I mean? But we are emphasizing on the quality of service, and we are doing it at a professional level. We are, looking to scale the business up and get more clients.
And the amount of service that's available.
Yeah. And we want to make sure, again, the quality of that service, like we're talking like the meals are good. We're talking about the walks are good. The companionship is good. The updates are good. I think the updates is a key one as well that, shouldn't be slept on. And I think you got to get someone that's personable, that's like your companion, that's gets good enough with, let's just say the adult children, where maybe they're doing video calls with granny or with papa or whatever, right? Or what, however it ends up being. Again, not every client's gonna be the same, but in my head, that's what I would like you know, if that was my mom, and all of a sudden I get a video call and mom's there with the companion, and they're having a good time and they're sitting there playing cards or something. Do you know what I mean? Like I try to put myself in the customer's shoe, the client's shoe, and what would I want if that was my mom, right? And so I think catering it and making it heavy on the value and the delivery on what we're doing is why it will be worth the amount of money that you're paying.
Yeah.
So, and it's not for everybody. This isn't the cheap, quick fix, you know? So I think that's also something to consider is, you know, if somebody can afford this $1,000 a month package, you're hoping that this is a quality client.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to be for everybody.
Agreed. So I don't have much more time. I've got about 10 minutes before I got to leave.
Yeah. Let's quickly, we'll talk about the inflatable rental thing. I think we're going to X that one out. I really like it, but there's a lot of overhead. There's, you know, moving pieces. It's seasonal, etc. And you've been working on something already. So let's talk about that. And maybe that can be a replacement for number 3.
Yes. So the recreational hockey league. So it's a ball hockey league. It's recreational. It's for youth grades 3 to 6 and grades 6 to 8. So it's elementary school students. You know, I'm talking about launching it because of our timeline right now. I'm talking about launching it a summer program. And so it wouldn't be like an after school youth program, but after summer's over, it kind of turns into an after school youth program, right? However, for summer vacation, essentially it would run from June till the end of August. I believe I calculated it out to be 13 sessions. So you would do it. So again, you're booking a gym. I already have a gym in mind. I've already reached out to them and contacted them and got the pricing and all this kind of stuff. And essentially what happens is you book it out for a weekly time slot. It's a 2-hour time slot. So it's 1 hour per division. So you've got grades 3 to 6 and you've got grades 6 to 8. Grades 3 to 6 come in first, 6 to 7 p.m. 7 to 8 p.m. is when the grades 6 to 8s come in. And again, the reason why you're hearing 3 to 6 and 6 to 8 is because somebody that's in grade 6, it might be their first time ever playing ball hockey. So they'll end up in the lower division in the grades 3 to 6. And then you're going to have some kids who've been playing hockey their whole lives and they're going to end up in the grade 6 to 8 division. So essentially what you do is you get 32 kids per session. So you've got enough where it's 5v5, 3 subs on each side and 2 goalies. The goalies, basically, if we can't get solid goaltenders that want to come in and just play goalie, you have rotating. So you have kids that'll sign up to rotate goalie. Most kids are going to sign up to rotate goalie. Some will not want to sign up. So we don't want to force it where they have to play goalie, because I know some places do that. But we want to make it where we want to really encourage people that if we can't get solid tenders, then we just make sure we're rotating. We have the gear for it, et cetera, et cetera. We provide it for them. And so it runs for 13 weeks. The first 12 weeks, the way the session works is they come in, they kind of do a warm-up drill for about 10 minutes or so. They come 15 minutes early so that they're prepped and they're ready. And they come in, they do a quick warm-up. We do some drills. We separate teams every week. So every week you might be on a new team, but we balance the teams out. So we have basically 2 people there that are on site controlling the game play. So you have like basically a referee and you have a person that controls the time clock and the score clock. And essentially what happens is those 2 people also are the coaches for each team. So your ref and your scorekeep, those people also are the coaches of the teams. And so that they're kind of like helping manage things. And, you know, because you do 3 12-minute periods or whatever it is. And it's for fun. Like it's not competitive, but we do keep score to keep it like fun and kind of competitive. We're trying to teach kids the game of hockey. We're trying to teach them positions. It is the style of the game. I might be going too far into detail of this stuff, but it's all good. But the style of the game is like if somebody scores a goal, we do a drop back at center. But if the goalie smothers it, then they just play it out. Everybody has to give space. Then they play. It's like an ongoing play. So it's not like stops every time. It's in a smaller kind of a school gym. It's not a big arena style ball hockey. This is like fun, recreational. Feels like gym class essentially, but it's a little bit elevated because everyone's wearing shin pads. Everyone's wearing hockey gloves. or lacrosse gloves, and everyone's wearing a helmet with a cage, and they have the actual sticks. So it's not like the gym little flimsy plastic sticks.
And so who's buying the equipment? The parents?
Yes. It's just like if you signed your kid up for soccer. It's just like if you signed your kid up for baseball, right? You're buying your baseball glove. You know, you don't usually provide the helmet because the teams usually have helmets, and sometimes they have the bats too. But in some leagues, you can actually bring your own bat. You can bring your own helmet. You can bring your own gloves, right? Stuff like that. But yeah, so they buy their own gear. It's not that expensive. You can get all that stuff for pretty cheap. And to sign up, it's $325 per kit, which is competitive as well pricing. It's kind of average pricing, but it's also a little competitive. This is not on the high end, but it's not necessarily on the very low end. But also jerseys are provided. Every kid gets medals. And on the last 13th session, we do like an all-stars final game thing, make it all big and stuff like that, give awards, all this kind of stuff. So it is still organized. It's still motivational. It's still, you're going to learn some stuff, but you're going to go there. You're going to have some fun. You know, some kids, they don't want to play soccer. Some kids, they don't want to play baseball. They don't want to do the ice hockey during the summer, but this is a ball hockey solution that honestly, it's very hard to find. At a non-competitive level. There's a lot of competitive ball hockey out there, but there's not necessarily recreational, co-ed, fun, like small gym ball hockey. So, yeah. And you can expand. You can build off it. You start with this, 2 divisions. You could eventually make an all-boys division eventually. You can now then maybe bring it to the high school level. You could do a men's league version of this. You could do a co-ed adult version of this. It's something that can expand. It depends on the want and the need in your area. You can survey it. You can find out who wants to sign up. Should we open another division? You can also create waiting lists so people can sign up for the next season early. That's why if you keep it small and in a niche like this, like 3 to 6, 6 to 8, your elementary school, it's like people are hearing about it, they know about it, and they want to sign up for next season. You could actually, and you're only allowing 32 kids per division, or I think it was 18 kids per division. You could actually end up with a waiting list where you actually have to open up another time slot. Right. And so, if you get to that point, you can expand on even just those divisions, just the 3 to 6 and 6 to 8. So, yeah, that's it. That's the whole spiel.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I see with it is just that there would be juggling of administrative tasks. Like scheduling, other people's schedules, coach schedules, facility schedules, people not showing up, making balancing the teams and the divisions and just that, all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. That's kind of the biggest thing I see with it. So with this, the way it works is you actually book your entire season ahead of time. Yeah. So the time slots are done. The community center, wherever you decide to go, obviously, if we're going to do it in Hamilton, we go somewhere or whatever. There's actually multiple places you could book, but you lock in your entire season, and then your times are done. Yeah. I've made it so that there's enough players in each division that if somebody doesn't show up or a couple of people don't show up, the game still goes on. You can also now take it from 5-on-5 and go to 4-on-4. Right. Yeah. So depending on how many people show up. Yeah. So there's that. So I kind of tried to edge all that stuff out to make sure that's why you bring in enough people per division, but you don't bring in too many. Like I was saying to Lindsay, is you really could actually bring in 22 players. So you have 2 lines of 5 on each team. And then that way, because no doubt you're going to have kids that don't show up. Obviously every single week you're going to have some people that don't show up, but then you could still have your subs and all that kind of stuff. But if everybody does show up, that's okay too, because you just have 2 lines. So you can go 2-minute shifts each, buzz them off if you wanted to do it that way, or if you're tired, get off, right? There's different ways. I think for that age group, I think you buzz them off. So every 2 minutes, switch them up. Buzz off, kid.
Yeah, buzz them right off. So anyways, and if that's the case, you do actually end up making a little bit more money. You do jerseys are provided. So we've already looked into them too. So essentially you get reversible jerseys. And so that way, every week when you're dividing the kids up, they can either be white or they can be black, whatever jersey colors. And then that way that part's already taken care of. You don't have to do pennies or whatever. And they get custom jerseys with their name and number on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially it. You create content around it. You get everyone to sign waivers that it's okay that we create some content around it and all that kind of stuff. This is something that my son is in a youth basketball thing that's literally set up almost exactly the same as this.
Right.
And so I really like the way that they do the content. They have videos, they post the videos, they do photos for the kids, which is great. We can do all of that in-house. And then it's also like very recreational, very non-competitive, very balanced teams. So that way, even the kid that's never played before, he's still going to get some puck touches. You're talking to the best kid on the team. You're like, hey man, make sure you set that kid up, right? Like as the coach, hey, make that guy's like, let's make sure that this guy gets a shot. And then you're doing things like drills and stuff. You're doing shootouts. You're doing stuff like that. So every kid gets to play.
Mm-hmm.
Make it fun and friendly rather than competitive and hardcore.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So business model wise, you're making X amount of dollars. Like I calculated it to be between $4,000 and $5,000 that you can make per division. So if you do 2 divisions each time,
and that's after paying.
Correct.
Everyone involved.
Yes.
Cool.
So it's something that you can make basically around. I think I calculated it out to be about. It was about $4,000 per division. Yeah. So you
and is this running year round? Is this just?
Yeah, you do year round and you just do seasonally. So every 3 months you switch it up. So it's a quarterly thing. You make about $8,000 every quarter.
Right.
So it's a way to make a bit $32,000 for one night a week of 2-hour sessions each time. And again, you could hire people out to do it. Like myself, I would be involved in it just because like it's something that I would do anyway. Yeah. In a sense, and I'm trying to do more for the community and all these kinds of things. It's great to make money, some extra money, but I think for me personally, like doing it in my community, I would take that profit. I would definitely bring it back into the community somehow or one way or another. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily something that I want to get rich off of, but if you can expand it and get it bigger, you could make it into a viable source of income and still be able to give back to the community. You could probably end up doing both really. So
yeah. Cool. Yeah.
What do you think about this other than
I like it. I that's why when you said you were kind of doing it on your own anyways, I was like, hey, wow. But I mean, I don't know. It sounds like you have it pretty figured out. My just initial thoughts were like, how much like managing and juggling is this going to take?
The good thing about this is you can literally hire students if you wanted to. Right. Yeah. You hire students to complete the whole thing. Like I'm throwing myself in there because I want to do it. I want to help out and I want to be part of the community that way. And I feel like there's not enough leaders in the community that are doing these types of things.
Well, something else you didn't mention there is sponsorship,
which is something that actually Lindsay brought up.
Yeah.
Which is you get a key sponsor. They basically could cover the jerseys, so now you make a little bit extra money, or they could help pay for like the end of the year thing with all the medals and maybe there's a pizza.
You could get a lot of the costs covered, like the space rental. You know what I mean? Like you have a big realtor who's sponsoring the whole thing, and like you can get a lot of costs covered that way.
I agree, and also though, I'll be honest with you, the cost of these gyms are so low already.
I know, yeah.
Like there's one gym, like if I do it at this one gym, it's like $25 an hour. Yeah. And it's almost criminal the way that this is set up that I could actually charge less though. What I would do in that case, if I went to that gym is I would charge less because I'd rather the parents pay less, to be honest.
Yeah, but you have to pay coaches and you have to pay scorekeepers and you have to pay like, you know what I mean? If you're not there on site managing it every week, somebody has to be, and somebody has to be paid to be doing that. So if you can have a sponsor cover the cost of the gym rental, so that then goes to pay those people. Every bit counts there, right?
And to that idea of the sponsorship, I would actually love for down the road finding a big enough sponsor that you could almost provide like a full division, like everything's covered. Like everything is paid for, and it's a certain, like maybe you're low income families, whatever it might be, and it's actually free for them.
Yeah.
They don't even have to pay.
Yeah.
I think that would be something that would be amazing down the road. But yeah, sponsorships like in the initial, where like maybe somebody's paying $500 and they get their names on the jerseys.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is something
I really like that, actually, that you could do that off the bat, is have like talk to the sponsor about that we're going to do this, and you do it on the low somehow, like, you know, so that it's not like a thing that let's bring out the poor kid and like
yeah.
You know, but like you could definitely do that on the low and have them join, and so it's just like they joined like everybody else, you know.
That's a good point, like sponsoring a player.
Yeah.
Or you know, like a couple sponsored. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea too. Also, if it's done the right way, and again, might not be for season 1 here, but for down the road, is you could do fundraisers, right?
Yep.
You could do even a fundraiser where all the kids are doing a certain thing, and you know, getting money, and that money
goes to pay for your year-end celebration or whatever. So the thing is, like,
brings down the fees costs.
What's that?
Brings down their initial fees. Like,
sure, yeah. I'm just thinking of it like you have to think about it like a business. You got to make some money for you to be able to do it.
No, but I mean that money comes
like
from that, but goes to their fees. I just mean in the sense of like, if they were going to pay $325 and we raised enough money where each kid gets $50 off, but like the company still makes the $50, but the kids and the parents they pay less, basically.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I was just saying that if you do a fundraiser, like the money can't go into your pocket. It's got to go to fund something. So it could go to fund that larger end of year
better
event.
medals, something cooler. Yeah, like I agree. Yeah. Even an experience. Like for example, I just got these Firewolves tickets for the lacrosse team at the GM Center, which like normally I think they're like, wow, $25-$50 a piece or something. Right? You could do a team night where everybody gets to go out to this thing. Maybe they get to meet the players or whatever, right? So
I really like this idea too. Margot's a little young right now for that, but pretty soon I'm going to be into something along those lines. I don't know if it's going to be ball hockey that she's into, but I think that, I like this idea, and I you know, at some point
it's something that you can actually though like change the sport or have multiple sports as well. It's very expandable. Like it's very.
Or make her become a ball hockey player.
What's that?
Or I make her become a ball hockey player.
Yeah, you can force that all day.
Yeah.
But you could do indoor soccer. You could do outdoor soccer. You could do there's just so much. You could do flag football. You could do whatever. So
if there was only a sport that involved rainbows and butterflies and unicorns,
every kid her age would be in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyways, that's it for today.
Okay.
And I think we're on we have 3 really cool options. I think we weighed out the pros and cons. We talked about the business formats. We talked about price packages. We talked about potential profitability, hiring, firing. We didn't really talk about firing, but hiring and what that looks like. And, you know, we talked about a lot of things. So we broke them all down. Now, next week, we have to pick one.
Yeah.
We've got to pick one. Yeah. So
help us pick one.
If you're watching, help us pick one. But you yourself, you got to come to the table next week with a choice. Like you have to be like, this is the one I want to do, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and it's gonna be like ball hockey, home care. And then we'll talk about we'll try to convince the other one on which one we should do.
Okay. I wonder if we can combine them.
Or maybe we do both.
Yeah.
And because maybe one will fail and maybe one will succeed, or maybe they both succeed, or maybe they both fail. That's the beauty about what we're doing, is nothing is guaranteed. We're taking a swing. We're going to take a swing, and we're going to see if we can knock something out of the park, or do we strike out?
That wasn't a ball hockey analogy. You went with a ball hockey analogy.
Yeah, but I didn't want to guys, we're doing sports.
We're taking a shot at the net.
We are trying to get a hat trick, or we're going to be like the Leafs and just keep losing for 50 years plus and not ever get a Stanley Cup.
And that's where we'll end it.
I got to go.
Okay. I'll see you next week.